This is the domestic report from Accolade News. We're starting with a focus on international relations. The federal government has expressed deep concerns about the recent wave of restrictive visa policies targeting Nigerian citizens, calling on the United Arab Emirates and United Kingdom to reconsider their new entry conditions in the spirit of mutual respect. The US now limits most non-immigrant Nigerian visas to single entry, 3 months validity, while the UAE has banned transit visas and imposed strict financial proof for tourist visas. The UK, meanwhile, will begin issuing digital e-visas for work and study applicants from July 15th. Reacting, the federal government described the US decision as disproportionate and summoned the US ambassador for talks, stressing that the move undermines long-standing bilateral ties. Top officials and diplomats call for reciprocity and strategic reforms, while opposition parties blame Nigeria's poor global image on internal governance failures. Now in politics. Ahead of the July 12, 2025 local government elections in Lagos State, the police command has announced total vehicular movement restriction from 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. across all roads and waterways. The directives agreed upon by the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security aims to ensure safety of voters, LISEC officials, and electoral process. Exempted from the restrictions are emergency services, accredited LISEC staff, election observers, and tagged journalists. The police also banned armed escorts, sirens, and covered plates near polling units, warning miscreants to stay clear of electoral activities. Commissioner CP Oluhundare Jimo urged peaceful participation, stressing that the violators of the Electoral Act will face persecution. Now in crime. The Nigerian Senate launched a comprehensive investigation into the explosion of Ponzi schemes in the country following the collapse of crypto bridge exchange CBEX, which allegedly defrauded Nigerians of over 1.3 trillion. Describing the scandal as one of Nigeria's worst financial disasters, lawmakers blame regulatory failures at the Central Bank of Nigeria, SEC, EFCC, and other oversight bodies. Senator Tokunbo Abiru, who co-sponsored the motion with Osita, warned of a disturbing trend dating back to MMM and MBA Forex, saying the fallout includes suicides and widespread economic trauma. Senate President Godswill Akpabio, who revealed he was once a Ponzi victim himself, backed swift public hearings and financial literacy campaigns. The Senate resolved to form a multi-committee probe spanning capital markets, banking, cybercrime, and anti-corruption agencies with a 4-week deadline to propose legal and regulatory reforms to protect Nigerians from digital financial predators. Still in crime, Union Bank of Nigeria has rejected the Lagos High Court ruling ordering it to pay over 400 billion naira to Nikon Investment Limited, owned by Senator Jimo Ibrahim, as refund for a £137 million deposit plus 14 years interest. In a statement signed by Chief Brand Officer Olufumilayo Aluko, the bank expressed strong disagreement with the judgment and announced plans to appeal, insisting it had lawfully transferred the debt to AMCON. While respecting the court, Union Bank maintained its legal stance, citing inconsistency in the ruling, and reaffirmed its commitment to integrity and stakeholder protection. Still on domestic updates, days of relentless rainfall have triggered severe flooding across several parts of Rivers and Bayelsa states, leaving residents stranded, businesses submerged, and properties destroyed. Port Harcourt and surrounding areas in Obiako, Ahoda East, Oyibo, and Emoha local government areas were among the worst hit, with key water channels like Rumokoro and Obirikwere blocked due to poor drainage maintenance. Victims lamented food scarcity and loss of valuables, while the Rivers State government, yet to implement the proactive flood measures, urged residents to evacuate flood-prone zones. Meanwhile, Bayelsa Deputy Governor called on the federal government and NDDC to urgently intervene, citing worsening coastal erosion and the state's financial incapacity to implement large-scale flood control projects. Temporary camps and drainage clearing are on the way ahead of further flooding predicted by NIMET. Now in infrastructure, the federal government has secured a $747 million syndicated loan led by Deutsche Bank to finance Phase 1 Section 1 of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project, covering Victoria Island to Eleko Village. The Minister of Finance described it as Nigeria's largest road infrastructure loan. Construction, already 70% complete, is handled by High-Tech Construction under an EPC plus F contract using CRCP technology. Finance Minister Wale Edun said the deal affirms international confidence in Nigeria's economy and Tinubu's reform agenda. Now in energy, Dangote Refinery says it plans to stop importing crude oil from the US and other countries by the end of 2025, opting instead for 100% reliance on Nigerian crude. Vice President of Dangote Industries, Divakuma Edwin, disclosed this in an interview, stating that the shift is possible as local producers complete their foreign supply contracts. In June, 53% of refinery crude was sourced locally, while 47% came from the US. Edwin noted that increasing domestic production will support the full transition. The refinery is scheduled to receive 5 crude cargoes from NNPC in both July and August. Meanwhile, the refinery has reduced its ex-depot price for petrol to 820 naira per litre. Now on sports. As preparations heat up for the 8th African Nations Championships 2025, several Super Eagles B players have expressed determination to secure a spot in the final squad. Currently, 28 players are in camp in Ikena, Ogun State, where intense training sessions are underway ahead of the tournament scheduled to kick off in August in Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. Head coach Eric Chelle had earlier released a 35-man provisional list on July 4th, with players now fighting to make the final cut. According to team media officer Promise Efogi, spirits are high, but so is the pressure as players push to impress the coaching crew. Nigeria, chance runner-up in 2018, are drawn in Group D alongside defending champions Senegal, Sudan and Congo. The team will face Senegal and Sudan at Amman Stadium in Zanzibar and round off their group stage against Congo. That is the domestic news updates for now on Accolade News. Do stay with us for more domestic updates and developments. I am Blessing Bassi.